Credit cards, I'm still convicted that the entire industry is scum. They are meant to screw people over, and that 99.9% of people don't have the psychological and financial wherewithal to play the game perfectly to truly win. I still think you're going to spend more on the card. I don't think the rewards are worth it, and I think people like Graham can gamify it because they have an astounding income and an astounding amount of frugality. That he might be the guy pulling it off.
So you think it is possible?
If you're Graham. If you're not Graham, it's not.
What about Jack?
Jack, I think he has a tendency toward hedonism. You know, the man likes things, and
You think so?
more than Graham. I think if you're comparing the two,
I think I like things more than Jack.
but you're unwilling to pay for said things.
I
You
like
things
experiences.
if it was gifted to you, or you can find a way to get it for free or cheap. But I don't think you're not the target demo. You are the guy who is truly quote unquote beating the system. But I don't think that's possible for almost anyone. You have to have an incredibly high income with an incredible amount of discipline and frugality to actually make that work.
What if you just have the discipline and frugality? You don't have a high income, but you are so disciplined down to the penny.
Could I still have become a millionaire if I used my credit card and paid it off perfectly and got some rewards? Probably. But I think it was actually beneficial for me to use my own money and make different decisions financially. I think I spent a lot less using my own money over the last 10 years than if I had used my credit card and got 2% cash back or got a free flight. Because the truth is, I would have chosen a different flight. I would have chosen a different airline versus trying to utilize the points to redeem them like it's Chuck E. Cheese. I just think you make different decisions, and it's not apples to apples.
Let's just say, not to beat a dead horse, let's just say that you are debating yourself about credit cards. Okay, so you're going up against George Kamel.
That's an unbeatable match.
Right, but what would you say if you're really trying to put your best argument forward about being pro credit card?
If I had to debate myself, George is across from me, and I'm the devil's advocate going,
Yes.
but George.
Yes.
Say I'm George Kamel.
I would probably say get a secured credit card to where you cannot spend more than you actually have, and still stick to your budget and look at the budget before you make any purchase ever. And then and only then do you use that card. You're still sticking within your budget and you can't spend more than you make, and have everything on autopay. And even then, I would still find a way to screw that up. Another George would be like, see, told you so. I still think if you put them neck and neck, you put both Georges in a race to wealth, I think debit card George would win every single time. I think he has a very different mindset than the other George who is trying to play a game that was set out before him. You know what I mean? Like you're not running your own race if you're playing the credit card company game. You can't be focused on two things at once. You can't be focused on, I'm trying to get out of debt and build wealth, and I'm trying to get my 2% so I can have a nice thing.
How much more do people spend on credit than debit, just overall?
We've seen a lot of studies. It ranges from 10% more to 100% more, depending on the study you look at. And for every singular person, it's going to differ greatly, depending on their income, their habits, where they're spending, are they playing the games of the cash back, the points, all of that.
I've always been so curious how they account for some of the variables of the people who have credit because they need credit and carry a balance, and therefore they are more prone to overspending in general than the person who is financially responsible using a credit card.
I just think in today's world, like 30 years ago, you could probably get away with it, or 20 years ago. I think in today's world, with how aggressive the marketing is, with how dialed in all the digital marketing is, there is no way that humans can truly counteract overspending over time. That's super difficult, and that's why I love the debit card. I love the budget.
Got something I want to mention.
Okay.
Who's really smart for credit card companies. The tap to pay.
Tap to pay.
Oh my God.
Frictionless.
You
don't even have to swipe.
You know that they just did so many studies and realized that it's less painful just to bleep than to stick your card in there and press buttons. And I noticed this the other day of how easy it was when Macy got that drink. And
How much was the drink?
You don't want to know.
Was it more than $20?
25 a tip.
Stupid. Graham was livid. Livid.
Okay, so This is so stupid. I thought it
This
was
is going to come up in marriage counseling.
I thought it was no, it's not Macy's fault. I thought it was an open bar. And so she's like, oh, I should get a drink. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Okay, just get one. Gets to the thing, and then I look over and I see the person next to me getting something similar. And they turn that thing around. I was like, oh, I thought it was an open bar. And sure enough, it comes, and I pay. But just the little bleep. It just, in that moment, it made me think that was a lot less painful than sticking the card in or swiping. There's something about the tapping that is a lot more comforting to me. And I could see in that instance how tap to pay does not feel like money.
Yeah.
It just feels like this.
And to be fair, debit cards have the feature too. And I think debit cards, there's a similar psychological ease, but the difference is, that's your own money. When I spend on a debit card and that bank transaction immediately comes through to text, I know that just left my bank account. And we are not $1.2 trillion in debit card debt. We're $1.2 trillion in credit card debt. And so you can't compare apples to apples and go, well, I spend the same if I would on a credit card. The credit card has this whole portal to hell that can be unlocked at any moment. So should you choose?
Personally, yeah. I just think the credit card companies understood that inserting a card or swiping, people now associate with charging money, and a tap to pay is new. And we don't have that same connection. I think in 20 years from now, people are going to have a connection with that, and then it's going to turn into like a hand wave. Like we're going to all have a little implant in our hand.
Yeah, you've seen that at Whole Foods. They have the Amazon Palm reader, and that's how you pay.
You know what they'll do? Got it. This is what they're going to do. They have facial recognition like they do at the airport.
That's all you need.
I'm excited about this because I came up with the new thing. Guaranteed they're going to use this, Jack. Guaranteed.
What if you have sunglasses
they
on?
have facial recognition that's so good now that you're going to have your face linked with a credit card, and all you have to do is make eye contact with the camera or something like that, or just look into
grab
this,
and go.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen those at the airports where it's just they know they have all the sensors.
Yeah. Like
they charged me once
for passports. You just scan your face now; it's all there.
Oh yeah,
you're going to do that with payments. You're going to be able to link your payment with your face, show your face.
Well, Apple Pay's tagline is "cashless made effortless." They know that the more convenient, the less effort we have to put in, the easier it is to spend.
Yeah,
and that is the argument. I mean, it's just a further argument than from cash and debit to credit card.
Like the Amazon grocery store.
It's
where
even
you just
easier.
go and you just pick it and it just debits from your account. You're going to have one master account. Everyone in the United States is going to have it scanned with your face, fingerprint.
It's that easy.
Yeah.
And you can't argue that spending someone else's money and getting to pay it back later is not easier and more of a win psychologically than seeing your own money leave you now, whether it's cash or debit. Yeah. So that's really at the end of the day, that's the stance on top of the scum. And I break down in the book, I talked to an ex-Capital One manager who said, we run 10,000 experiments on consumers a year to get them to spend more, to get them hooked on our points games and to gamify it all. And that was enough for me. I went, no, thank you. And for those reasons, I'm out.